हरे कृष्ण। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome back to the the second day of fourth part of this course, Rediscovering Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, based on the book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So for the past many days we have been discussing from this book, and today we will continue. So we have been discussing from the second wave of the eastern section of this book, which talks about Sadhana Bhakti. And in Sadhana Bhakti, we are currently discussing about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And within Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we are discussing the 12th topic, which is the Angas of devotional service. The longest limb in this whole book, the longest section of this whole book, Angas of devotional service, the 64 items, of which we have already completed about 55 items, if I am right. So yesterday we saw dasyam. Dasyam means acting as a servant, and in that there is kainkaryam and karmarpanam. And within that, Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned that in our understanding, kainkaryam, acting in the mood of a menial servant, is considered to be real dasyam. And then we also saw sakyam, and within sakyam also we saw two types. One is Vishwasa and Mitra Vritti. Vishwasa means firm trust in Krishna's protection, that is there. But in Rupa Goswami's opinion, Mitra Vritti, a kind of friendly attitude with Krishna, a very familiar attitude with Krishna, that is called as Sakyam. And this is different from the Sakya Ras we saw. Yan Mitram Paramanando Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. Ahobhagyam Nandagopa Vrajokasam Yanmitram Paramanandam Purnam Brahma Sanatanam. So it is mentioned for the Nandagopas, for Nandagopa and the other Gopas and Gopis of Vrindavan, they had a friendly relationship with Krishna. The word Mitram is used. But there, Mitra refers not to Sakyaras but to Mitra Vritti, we saw, a generic friendly attitude. And then the 49th limb that we saw was Atma Nivedanam, offering the self. Of course, these three limbs is what we saw day before yesterday. And yesterday we saw Nija Priya Upaharanam, offering articles which are very close to oneself to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 51st limb that we saw was Tadarte Akila Cheshtitam. Whatever activity we are doing for Krishna, we put our full effort in performing that activity. And the 52nd item was Sharanapatti. Sharanapatti is actually accepting Lord's protection and surrendering unto Him. And 53rd limb was Tadiyanam Sevanam. In this we saw about honoring and worshipping Tulsi Maharani. Tadiyanam Sevanam, serving things or people related to Krishna. And then we saw, I am not sure if, yeah, I think we saw Shastrasya, service to the scriptures. And here Srila Rupa Goswami directly talks about Bhagavatam only, because in our understanding, serving scriptures means serving scriptures, serving Bhagavatam, and those scriptures whose conclusions are in line with the conclusions of Srimad Bhagavatam, we serve those scriptures. Not that we do not serve other scriptures. We certainly do not disrespect other scriptures. We understand its value. Of course, serving the scriptures means reading them and trying to follow them. That's how we worship. That's how we serve the scriptures. By trying to understand them with careful attention and trying to follow them with careful attention. That's how we serve the scriptures. And if that is the meaning of service to scriptures, then we serve only the Shastras whose conclusion is in line with the conclusions of Srimad Bhagavatam. Other scriptures, we respect them, we honor them, but we need not necessarily study them and try to follow them, because it may not be a recommended scripture for a practicing Gaudiya Vaishnava, like that. And then 55th we saw serving Mathura and other holy places. Um, and this is where we ended, 55th limb. So 56th limb onwards we will try to continue. We are going little slow, but still I will try to little bit increase the time of the class in order to cover the portions, because if I rush, then again some devotees may feel that proper justice has not been done to some of the topics. So I'll try to take little extra time. Hope you will excuse me for this. So 56th is a very important limb. Vaishnavanam Sevanam. So Vaishnavanam Sevanam means service to the Vaishnavas. Of course, this limb will be discussed once more again. Sajatiya Ashe Snigde Sadhu Sangasvato Vare. That we will discuss. But for now, this 56th limb is serving the Vaishnavas. Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. The whole of Bhagavatam actually is a glorification of Vaishnavas. It's filled with it. So if we literally take within Bhagavatam verses glorifying the Vaishnavas or association of Vaishnavas, then literally we will have to spend at least 20 days discussing all those verses. So we will not go into so much detail. Few verses just we will touch. Only those verses which Rupa Goswami has quoted, only that much verses we will see. So he quotes this famous verse from Padma Puran, where Mother Parvati is approaching Lord Shiva and asking him, "My dear Lord, what is the best kind of worship? Can you please tell me?" This is similar to an episode which we hear in Vishnu Sahasranamam also. Kenopayena laguna Vishnor nama sahasrakam pattite panditair nityam shrotamichamyaham prabho. So she asks, apparently some of the best conversations has been between Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is best of the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. So she asks in that particular episode, Kenopayena laguna Vishnor nama sahasrakam patyate panditair nityam shrotumichamyaham prabho. My dear Lord, is there a way by which this Vishnu Sahasranam, these 1000 names of Vishnu, laguna, can be very easily chanted and still one get the same result? And Lord Shiva says, yes, it is possible. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. O Varanane, O beautiful wife, Mother Parvati, if the name of Lord Ram is chanted 3 times, it is equal to chanting the 1000 names of Lord Vishnu. Like that he says. Similarly, here in Padma Puran, she is asking Lord Shiva, what is the best form of worship? And Lord Shiva says, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. Of all kinds of worship, worshipping Vishnu is the topmost. But there is one kind of worship which is superior to worshipping Lord Vishnu. Tasmat Parataram Devi. There is something better than that. What is that? Tadiyanam Samarchanam. Worshipping the Vaishnavas is even more superior to worshipping Lord Vishnu. So that's what she's telling, because that's what we saw even Lord Vishnu told. Yeme Bhakta Jana Partha, Krishna tells Arjuna in the Adi Puran, Yeme Bhakta Jana Partha, Name Bhaktas Chate Jana, Mat Bhaktanam Chaye Bhakta, Same Bhakta Tamo Mata. He says, one who says that I am Krishna's devotee, he says he is not my devotee at all. I don't consider him as a very high devotee. One who says that he is a devotee of my devotee, he is true devotee, best of the devotees, like that he says. Another verse from the 7th chapter of 3rd canto, Yat sevaya bhagavatah kutastasya madudvishah Ratiraso bhavet tivra padayor vyasanardanah. He says, Yat sevaya, by service to the devotees, what do we, by serving the Vaishnavas, what do we get? Because we are very eager to serve the Supreme Lord, but when it comes to serving the Vaishnavas, we are not very eager. Why? Because we have not sufficiently heard about the glories of serving Vaishnavas. So, yat sevaya, by service to the devotees, tivra ratirasaha, bhagavatah tivra ratirasaha, one gets intense desire, intense rasa of bhava bhakti. Very quickly one reaches the stage of pure love towards Krishna by just serving the devotees. Kutastasya, of that Lord who is fixed in one form, and Madhudvishah, that Lord who destroys the obstacles for all the devotees which are compared to the Madhu demon. Padayor Vyasanardanah, and not only does one get prema bhakti, but one very quickly, all the material suffering also one overcomes the material suffering. Yat sevaya bhagavatah kutastasya madhudvishah. So the fastest way of achieving Krishna prema is to serve the devotees, more than even serving the Supreme Lord. Like that. Parikshit Maharaj actually expresses his gratitude for honoring the presence of Srila Shukadeva Goswami. Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadya shuddyanti vaigraha kim punar darshana sparsha pada shauchasanadibihi. My dear Lord, yesham samsmaranat pumsam, if even one remembers a great devotee like you, sadya shuddhanti vaigraha, his house and the hearts of all the house members, it gets completely cleansed just by remembering a great devotee like you. Kim punar, what then to speak of darshana? What then to speak of having the opportunity of taking your darshan like I have? What more to think of sparsha, getting an opportunity to touch you by touching your lotus feet while washing your feet. Pada shaucha asanadibihi. And by washing your feet, offering a seat to you, if just remembering you can purify the whole house, then what to speak of getting an opportunity to see you, touch you, wash your feet, offer you a seat, and most importantly, hear from you. What amazing opportunity. So the easiest way of progress in devotional service is to serve the devotees. Actually, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in one of the talks, he says, the Yuga Dharma of this age of Kali is not Nama Sankirtan. He says, the Yuga Dharma of this age is Vaishnava Seva. One may say, oh, what do you mean? The Yuga Dharma is actually Nama Sankirtan only. Kalau nasteva 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 gatiranyata. Harer nama eva kevalam. Kalau nasteva 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 gatiranyata. It is mentioned in the scriptures that there is no other way to progress in this age of Kali than to serve the Vaishnavas, than to chant the holy name, Harer Nama eva kevalam. But nevertheless, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that it is possible in this age of Kali, the actual Yuga Dharma is Vaishnava Seva, because Vaishnava Seva opens the door and empowers us to practice all the limbs of bhakti. It empowers us to practice all the limbs of bhakti. So therefore, it is a most powerful limb. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Prema Latikara Moola. He says, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu, the foot dust of a pure devotee, Bhajana Anukula, is very favorable for practicing bhakti. And what is this foot dust? He says, Bhakata Seva, serving the devotee. Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Prema Latikara Moola. He does not say Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhira Upay. He does not say serving the devotee is the means of attaining success. He says Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi. Serving devotees is success. And Prema Latikara Moola, and the root of the creeper of devotion is actually Vaishnava Seva. So therefore, it is mentioned here that Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadhya shuddyanti vaigraha kim punar darshana sparsha pada shauchasanadibihi. Like that. And then again he quotes this verse, Ye me bhakta jana partha name bhaktas chate jana mad bhaktanam chaye bhaktas te me bhakta tamo mata. We have already discussed this verse from Adi Puran, where Krishna tells, if someone says, I am your devotee, I don't consider him as my devotee. But one who says, I am the devotee of your devotee, that person I consider to be the best of the devotees. Like that. Then Srila Rupa Goswami says, Yavanti Bhagavad Bhakter Angani Katitaniha Prayas Tavanti Tadbhakta Bhakterapi Buddha Viduhu. Yavanti Bhagavad Bhakter Angani Katitani. Whatever limbs have been mentioned with respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prayas, almost Prayaha Tavanti Tad Bhakta Bhakterapi. Almost all those limbs can be applied to a devotee also. So when the Lord comes, just like we have to get up, abhyuttanam. Similarly, when a devotee comes also, we should get up. And in the same way, in fact, it is mentioned that when someone is offering worship to the Supreme Lord on the altar, and if a Vaishnava comes, and if there is no one else to receive that Vaishnava, the worship of the Supreme Lord can stop and the Vaishnava should be received. This is the rule. When there are two personalities to be received and worshipped, and there is only one person to offer that, the pujari is there, he is offering arati to the Supreme Lord. When a Vaishnava comes, and if there is no one to receive that Vaishnava, the worship of the Supreme Lord can stop. The Vaishnava has to be received. He should be offered a seat, some water or something, and then after taking permission from the Vaishnava, you can continue the worship of the Supreme Lord. This is a rule. So therefore, all the limbs, almost all the limbs which are offered of the 64 limbs, which are offered to the Supreme Lord, they can be similarly offered. In Guru Puja, you offer all the Dhoop, Deep, Arghya, Padya, and and Achamaniya, and Chamara, and Vyajana, and all those things are offered to the Guru and Vaishnavas also. Great devotees can be worshipped in the same way in which the Supreme Lord is worshipped. All the limbs. If taking darshan of the Supreme Lord is one of the 64 limbs, taking darshan of a devotee is also one of the 64 limbs. If performing arati to the Supreme Lord is one of the limbs, performing arati to the Guru is also one of the limbs, similarly. So in this way, most of the limbs which are relevant to the devotee, to the Supreme Lord, are also similarly relevant to the devotee also, like that. So this is Vaishnavanam Sevanam, service to the Vaishnavas. Of course, there are few places in which we will be discussing this. That is why I am not touching this subject matter. Uh, we are not going deep into discussing this subject matter because we will anyway discuss it in one of the 5 most potent limbs. Therefore, I will leave it as it is right now. 57th limb is called Yata Vaibhava Mahotsava, observing festivals according to one's wealth. Krishna is very kind. He says, whatever you can manage, you do it for me, like that. So he quotes a verse from the Padma Purana. He says, Yak karoti mahipala harer gehe mahotsavam tasyapi bhavati nityam hariloke mahotsavah. O Mahipala, O king, yak karoti harer gehe mahotsavam. One who celebrates a festival for the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his home or in the temple of the Supreme Lord, tasyapi bhavati nityam, and such a person experiences eternally hariloke mahotsavah, a festival in the planet of the Lord. So one who performs a festival of the Supreme Lord in a temple or at his home, he will eternally experience a festive atmosphere, or it can be understood as he will eternally experience the festive atmosphere of the spiritual world, which means he will get an eternal residence in Vishnu Loka, Vaikunta or Goloka, depending on one's choice. So therefore, Yata Vaibhava Mahotsav, whatever one can afford, one should be able to spend that amount for celebrating the. So we spend so much money celebrating our own birthdays, but when it comes to celebrating the appearance day of the Supreme Lord, we should celebrate it very nicely. Yata Vaibhava Mahotsava. And in return, if Krishna is willing to give us a residence in the spiritual world, this is spending little money for that is very insignificant actually. Ultimately, it is Krishna's money only. The 58th limb is called as Urjadaraha, or observing the Urja Vrata. Urja Vrata means the Vrata of Kartik month. In the month of Kartik, performing a Vrata. So that is. So he says, he quotes a verse from the Padma Purana. Yata damodaro bhakta vatsalo vidito janaihi tasyayam tadrisho masa swalpamapyurukarakah. Yata damodaraha bhakta vatsala vidito janaihi. Just as people understand that Lord Damodar is Bhakta Vatsala, he has lot of affection for his devotees. Tasya ayam tadrusho masaha. His own month, which bears the same name as Damodar month, which is Kartik month, is similarly Bhakta Vatsala, very, very favorably disposed towards the devotees. Swalpam api urukarakah. Little devotional service done during the Kartik month, it magnifies that devotional service into something very huge. It is like you purchase a lottery ticket for 1 rupee and you win a prize of 1 crore. So similarly, you chant one Mahamantra during Kartik and it is counted as 1 crore Mahamantra. So, which is, so therefore, the Kartik month is extremely potent. That's why it is mentioned like that. The month is affectionate just as Damodar is affectionate. Thus, a little service to Damodar becomes multiplied if performed during that month. Urukarakaha means a person who accepts something very small and makes it big. Like a person who feels extremely indebted and performs great actions for another person. So Damodar month is an extremely grateful personality. So he accepts uh, something very insignificant devotional service and magnifies it. Similarly, his month called Kartik month gives great benefit. It takes what is meager and makes it significant. The month of Damodar is a future giver of huge results for a little service. Like that. Another verse he quotes from Padma Puran. Bhuktim muktim harirdadhyad architonyatra sevinam bhaktim tu nadadatyeva yato vashyakari harehe. Bhuktim muktim harirdadhyad. The Supreme Lord archito anyatra sevinam. For other practitioners, for the worshippers, other types of worshippers, Krishna will give bhukti, mukti easily. Bhaktim tu na dadatyeva. But he will not give bhakti very easily. Matlab prema bhakti or bhava bhakti. Why? Yato vashyakari harehe. Because then Lord Hari has to be completely controlled by that person. So he will think, he will observe, he will ensure that that person is qualified before actually giving him bhava bhakti or prema bhakti. Sa, that very same Supreme Lord, to anjasa harer bhaktir labhyate kartike naraihi. But that very same person, if he practices very little bhakti during the month of Kartik or Damodar month, anjasa harir bhaktir labhyate, very quickly he will attain bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. Mathurayam sakradapi Shri Damodar Sevanat. And what then to speak of worshipping Lord Damodar in Vrindavan or Mathura? Then that becomes million times more powerful. That is why literally everyone runs. If you see Vrindavan during Kartik month, it is like you can drop a til seed and it will not drop down. Jam packed. Vrindavan is, amazing during the month of Kartik. It is the place to be. Really amazing atmosphere. And you have the benefit of performing devotional service in Vrindavan and during the month of Kartik. Both these personalities have a huge magnifying glass which will magnify even little devotional service that we perform. But of course, whatever little aparat that we perform also will be seen through a magnifying glass. So we have to be careful. So this is the 58th limb, Urjadaraha, observing Urja Vrata or fasting and performing the vows of Kartik Vrata. The 59th limb, the last limb before we move on to the 5 most potent limbs. The 59th limb is called as Shri Janma Dina Yatra, observing the appearance day of the Lord. Of course, this we have also seen before. Harivasara Sammano, properly following the days which are very dear to the Supreme Lord, which includes Janmashtami, Ramanavami, Narsingha Chaturdashi, Varaha Dwadashi, Vamana Dwadashi, and so on. So here he says, Yasmin dine prasuteyam devaki tvam janardana taddinam brohi vaikunta kurmaste tatra chotsavam tena samyak prapannanam prasadam kuru keshava. This is from the Bhavishottara Puran. It is mentioned, O Janardana, Yasmin dine devaki tvam prasuteyam bruhi. Very interesting verse where the person is asking, when is your birthday, Krishna? Which was the day when you were born as the son of Mother Devaki? Tell me your birthday. O Vaikunta, tad dinam kurmahate tatra cha utsavam. On that day, I will perform a festival celebrating your appearance. O Keshava, prasadam kuru. Tena tvam prasadam kuru. O Keshava, and you be pleased with that festival that I am offering to you. Samyak prapannanam prasadam kuru. So by that festival you be very pleased to those who are completely surrendered unto you. Like that. I don't know who speaks this verse, but this it's a little amusing verse where he is asking Krishna only, when is your birthday? Like that. And he says that I will perform a festival for you, celebrating your appearance day, like that. Okay, so in this way, we come to the end of the 59 limbs. The last 5 limbs are the 5 most potent limbs. So we will have little elaborate discussion on these 5 most potent limbs. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Duruhadbhuta viryesmin shraddha durestu panchake yatra swalpopi sambandha saddhyam bhava janmane. He says, panchake, these 5 limbs, duruha adbhuta virye, these 5 limbs have unimaginable, most astonishing powers, inconceivably astonishing powers. Asmin shraddha dure astu. Shraddha to dur ki baat hai. You know, even if one may not have complete faith in these 5 items, yatra swalpa api sambandha, even little bit of relationship with these 5 limbs, saddhyam. Saddhyam means for one who has good intelligence. Good intelligence means one who does not offend, one who does not commit the 10 offenses. If a person who is free of the 10 offenses, even little bit relationship he has with one of the 5 limbs, bhava janmane, very quickly reaches the stage of bhava. So the most important 2 aspects are swalpa api sambandha, little bit of touch with one of these 5 limbs, plus no offenses. Again, then bhava comes very quickly. So therefore, one should understand, Rupa Goswami is very emphatic about it. These 5 are, they have dur-uha adbhuta virye, inconceivably astonishing powers are there in these 5 limbs. So what are these 5 limbs? Some of these limbs we have already seen. Archanam we have seen, Mathuravas we have seen twice, and so some of the limbs are repeated twice, thrice, like that, but that repetition is for emphasis. And also these 5 limbs, Srila Rupa Goswami actually elaborates on what exactly makes it a very potent limb. So first thing he says is Shri Murter Angri Sevane Preeti. Worshipping the deity is one of the 64 limbs. But if one has very deep, loving attraction to serving the deities, it becomes one of the most potent limbs. So just performing Archanam is one of the limbs only. But if one has great attachment and attraction to worshipping the deity form of the Lord, then it becomes a very, very potent limb. Shri Murter Angri Sevane Preeti. So, someone may say, what is the need for deity worship if chanting Hare Krishna is sufficient in itself for perfection? We say, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva, Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, 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 Gatiranyata. Na Anyata Gati, there is no other way, no other way, no other way in this age of Kali than by chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name. So if chanting the holy name will give all perfection, what is the need for deity worship? One may ask. Valid question. Is deity worship relevant in this age of Kali, where actually the Yuga Dharma is Harinam Sankirtan? So, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport to Adi Leela 7th chapter 76th verse, very beautiful purport. Prabhupada says, to chant the holy name of the Lord, one need not depend on other paraphernalia, for one can immediately get all the desired results of linking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like we saw elsewhere, it does not depend on Diksha, it does not depend on Purascharya Vidhi and all that. It may therefore be questioned why there is a necessity for initiation or further spiritual activities for one who engages in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Holy name itself is sufficient, isn't it? Is holy name sufficient or not? The answer is that although it is correct that one who fully engages in chanting the holy name need not depend on the process of initiation, generally a devotee is addicted to many abominable material habits due to material contamination from his previous life. It is true, holy name is potent, but the devotee cannot concentrate on the holy name because one may be troubled by many material habits which one has acquired prior to coming to Krishna consciousness. In order to get quick relief from all these contaminations, it is required that one engage in the worship of the Lord in the temple. So, deity worship is so absorbing. One can sleep during chanting. One can never sleep during deity worship. Because everything has to be done on time. Because if one little bit of delay in one thing, especially temple deity worship, everything is on time. If the pujari sleeps while offering the diya, then there are some 100 other people watching that arati. And then time may pass, he has to blow the conch shell. After that, there are other activities which need to be done. Everything is in pipeline. But during chanting one can sleep because no one is watching. No one is going to ask you, you have just exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes to complete your 16 rounds. No. Someone may take 1 hour 45 minutes, someone may take 3 hours, someone may take 4 hours. But we can't perform archanam like that. So, Prabhupada says, and because archanam process keeps you on your toes, every moment gives you engagement, it does not give any time for sinful thoughts or non-Krishna conscious thoughts, or it does not provide any place for other bad habits. And also because all the senses are engaged, because there is, during archanam, there is engagement for all the senses. Therefore, the level of absorption is very high. And because we are personally serving a personality, it is a much more personal to see, it is much more easier to see the deity form of the Lord as being non-different from Krishna than to see the holy name as being non-different from Krishna. At least deity form looks like a personal form of the Lord. The holy name is just some sound. Sound, in our experience, is impersonal. Deity is much more personal than sound for a conditioned soul, even though both the deity and the holy name are non-different from Krishna. Abhinnatvad nama namino. There is no difference between the holy name and the Supreme Lord. Pratima nahi tumi sakshad Brajendra Nandan. There is no difference between the deity and the Supreme Lord. But compared to both, to see the deity as being closely related to the Supreme Lord is much more easy than to see the holy name as being non-different from the Supreme Lord. Therefore, deity worship gives a very, very powerful form of absorption, at least for the beginners. When one progresses more and more, then one can see how the holy name is non-different from Krishna and can develop a similar level of absorption or much more a higher level of absorption in chanting the holy name also. But for beginners, the holy name or Bhagavatam may not give that level of absorption that deity worship gives. Therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning, in order to get quick relief from all these contaminations, it is required that one engage in the worship of the Lord in the temple. The worship of the deity in the temple is essential to reduce one's restlessness due to the contaminations of conditioned life. When we are conditioned due to many, many bad habits, deity worship, by constantly engaging our senses and mind, cools down our restless mind, which may become restless due to past conditionings. But we can be extremely distracted during chanting the holy name or hearing Bhagavatam. But during deity worship, it's very difficult. If you are distracted, you are losing time. Just like when we are distracted during japa, generally many devotees have a habit of timing their japa. Not that they are running a race, but just to see, like for example, I used to time my japa. Of course, the current phone that I have, a simple phone, it does not have that timer. But my previous phones it had timer. So I used to time my japa. So if it takes beyond a particular duration of time, it means either my mind is roaming on the chariot of sense gratification, it is thinking about different things, plan making. So if it takes extra time, then it means I am spaced out or I am sleeping during japa. So therefore, many times people time their japa. But still there is so much scope. Even if you have taken, instead of 6 minutes, you have taken 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, doesn't matter. Okay, next mantra I will be more careful. Next mala I will be more careful. Like that we will think. But in deity worship, it leaves you no scope. Even 1 second, 2 second delay can be costly. Because you have to do the dressing on time. Why? Because the Lord has to get sufficient time to honor his food. And then you have to offer it on time. Then immediately after offering, you have to perform your Gayatri. Then after that, you have to sing the Bhogarti. Then you have to get the Arti paraphernalia. And by the time that is done, you have to now blow the conch shell and open it for the Arti. It's all so timed that you can't afford to space out or take a nap in between. It's not possible at all. Thus, Narada in his Pancharatriki Vidhi and other great sages have sometimes stressed that since every conditioned soul has a bodily concept of life aimed at sense enjoyment, to restrict this sense enjoyment, the rules and regulations for worshipping the deity in the temple are essential. When a person is constantly engaged in serving the deities, there is no time to think about sense gratification. And the best way of overcoming sense gratification is to not have time for it. There should be no time and no facility for sense gratification. Then that is the most effective way of curbing sense gratification. And on top of that, if that time which is not utilized in sense gratification, if it is engaged in serving the deity form of the Lord or serving the Supreme Lord in any one of the 64 ways, then apart from not having time for engagement in sense gratification, it also purifies our heart of all the past sinful tendencies. Everything is purified by practice of devotional service. So therefore deity worship is especially important. Srila Rupa Goswami has described that the holy name of the Lord can be chanted by liberated souls, but almost all the souls we have to initiate are conditioned. Prabhupada is telling. Rupa Goswami says that the holy name of the Lord can be chanted by liberated souls, but what can I do? Whomever I am giving initiation, Prabhupada is writing, they all are conditioned souls. It is advised that one chant the holy name of the Lord without offenses and according to the regulative principles. Therefore, I tell them, don't perform offenses, because naturally there is an inclination for a beginner devotee to commit offenses, and there we may struggle with practicing the regulative principles. Yet due to their past bad habits, they violate these rules and regulations. Prabhupada says from his personal experience, yet I give them initiation, but still due to their past bad habits are so strong that they come and they torment the devotees again. Thus the regulative principles for worship of the deity are also simultaneously essential. So therefore just holy name you chant, but deity worship is essential for at least the beginner devotees. Beginner means first few years. It could be few months for few people, 1 year for few people, 10 years for few people, 20 years for few people. But because not everyone comes to Krishna consciousness with the same amount of conditioning. Some people may have deep-rooted conditionings. So constant engagement in deity worship pacifies their restless mind, as Prabhupada says. So Prabhupada says in another purport that how deity worship is absolutely essential for the sadhakas, especially the grihasthas. Especially the grihasthas, deity worship is absolutely essential. So Prabhupada says, it is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple. This is from the 7th canto purport, famous series of verses spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyamatmani Vedanam Idipumsarpita Vishnor Bhaktischain Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Adda Tanmanye Aditam Uttamam. So when in these two verses, when Prahlad Maharaj says about the 9 limbs of devotional service, in that purport Srila Prabhupada writes, where one of the longest purports of Srimad Bhagavatam is this purport by Srila Prabhupada, where he speaks about Archanam. While speaking about Archanam, Prabhupada writes, it is therefore recommended that initiated devotees follow the principles of Narada Pancharatra by worshipping the deity in the temple. Especially for householder devotees who are opulent in material possessions, the path of deity worship is strongly recommended. So if opulent devotees are not utilizing their money in serving the deities, then it will be misused in one's own gratification. An opulent householder devotee who does not engage his hard-earned money in the service of the Lord is called a miser. One should not engage paid brahmanas to worship the deity. This is very important, because then the paid brahmana, he will get the money also, and he will get the benefit of worshipping the deity also. Of course that would be minimal, because most likely he would worship according because of the money only. So no one gets the benefit of such a worship. Deity worship, Prabhupada is very emphatic, should never be performed using paid brahmanas. One should not engage paid brahmanas to worship the deity. If one does not personally worship the deity but engages paid servants instead, he is considered lazy, and his worship of deity is called artificial. It is not real. An opulent householder can collect luxurious paraphernalia for deity worship, and consequently for householder devotees, the worship of the deity is compulsory. Grihastha devotees, however, are generally engaged in material activities, and therefore, if they do not take up to deity worship, their falling down is positively assured. So, if a Grihastha devotee is not engaged in worshipping the deity, Prabhupada says his falling down is assured. Deity worship means following the rules and regulations precisely, because by worshipping the deities, when the whole family is engaged in worshipping the deities, then there is a very strong feeling that this house belongs to the Lord. Therefore, if He is the Lord and we are the servants, then we will not think with the sense gratificatory desires will be subdued, because He is the master, He owns everything. Her Grace Dinatarani Mataji writes about Yamuna Mataji in the autobiography, in the biography of Yamuna Mataji. She says that in their friendship for more than 3-4 decades, she says that I don't remember even once Yamuna Mataji telling, she writes, I don't remember even once Yamuna Mataji telling, come to our home. She always says, come and visit Vanvihari's house. Always. Even unconsciously, when she is speaking with someone, not once she ever spoke, because unconsciously when you speak, whatever we feel in a very deep rooted way, that's what comes out. Even unconsciously, Dinatarani Mataji says, she never recollects even once telling anyone, come to our house, I'll cook for you or whatever. He says, come and visit Vanvihari, come and visit Vanvihari at their place, like that. They had Radha Vanvihari deities. So therefore, deity worship is very, very powerful to give up that lording mentality, enjoying mentality, controller mentality. We become completely subservient to the Supreme Lord. So therefore, deity worship is very important for Grihasthas and Sadhakas actually. Why to speak of only Grihasthas? Every Sadhaka has to worship the deity, and by worshipping the deity, we understand who is the boss here. Is it me or is it the Supreme Lord? Like that. Grihastha devotees must adopt the Archana Vidhi or deity worship according to the suitable arrangements and directions given by the spiritual master. Regarding those unable to take to the deity worship in the temple, there is the following statement in the Agni Puran. So Agni Puran says, if you cannot worship the deities in the temple, what should you do? Agni Puran says, any householder circumstantially unable to worship the deity must at least see the deity worship, and in this way he may achieve success also. So if due to circumstances one cannot genuinely worship the deity, there are some practical considerations, then one should at least see the deity worship. Aratika darshanam, that one should do. The special purpose of deity worship is to keep oneself always pure and clean. Therefore, deity worship should never be compromised. Grihastha devotees should be actual examples of cleanliness. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can reach the platform of love of Godhead. One might then ask, what is in this purport also Prabhupada addresses the same point. If by chanting the holy name we can reach the stage of prema, then what is the need of being initiated and worshipping the deity? So Prabhupada says, even though chanting of the holy name is sufficient to enable one to progress to spiritual life to the standard of prema, nonetheless, one is susceptible to contamination because of possessing a material body. Consequently, special stress is given to the Archana Vidhi. One should therefore regularly take advantage of both the Bhagavat process and the Pancharatriki process. Like that. So, therefore, Prabhupada says every sadhaka, especially the grihasthas, for them deity worship is mandatory. If someone neglects deity worship, their fall down is guaranteed. Prabhupada writes. Now, let us read from some of the comments by Srila Jiva Goswami from Bhakti Sandarbha. So, in Bhakti Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami writes, if the grihasthas ignore this duty on the plea of having no money, I am sorry, I don't have sufficient money to spend on the deities, their cheating activities will be a source of inauspiciousness for them. Of course, the brahmacharis, sannyasis, they really don't have any money. So, whatever money comes, the same is true for grihasthas and brahmacharis and sannyasis also. If money comes and all that money is utilized for their own facilities, and the deity is not given any facility, then this statement holds good for them also. It is not just for the grihasthas. So, if the grihasthas ignore worshipping the deity because there is no excess money, then that will become the source of inauspiciousness for them. Just as watering the roots of a tree automatically nourishes its branches, twigs and leaves, the householder's proper worship of the deity brings peace, prosperity and health to the family. So, if someone is struggling with wealth, prosperity and health issues, then there is a chance that maybe the family is not properly attentive to worshipping the deity forms of the Lord. So, especially for Jiva Goswami, especially for the grihastha devotees, the prosperity, health and wealth of the whole family depends on how attentively the family is serving the deities. If this important duty is neglected, however, then householders can expect want, disease and strife. Then if deity worship is neglected, then they will have economical problems, they will have disease at home and they will have constant quarrels with each other. But if the whole family comes together to wonderfully worship the deity, then Yogakshemam Mahamyaham, Krishna will provide whatever the devotee lacks, and because they are coming together to serve the Lord, there will be wonderful relationships between each other and there won't be any disease. Aushadam Jannavi Toyam Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. So Vaidya is Narayano Hari, and if you are worshipping Narayano Hari, why would the worshipper be diseased? It is a great insult to the doctor if his own compounder is always sick. So therefore, the doctor will take care of his compounder very well, so that the compounder should be very healthy, and people who come to take his consultation, looking at the compounder, they should feel, oh, he must be a good doctor. But if the compounder is always coughing and then he is very, very weak and anemic and whatnot, then it's an insult to the doctor. So similarly, if someone is wonderfully worshipping the Supreme Lord will take care of him. Vaidyo Narayano Hari. So why would there be diseases? Of course, sometimes the Supreme Lord may give some disease in order to make that devotee more helplessly take shelter of Krishna. That is possible. Deity worship allows devotees to see their family, home and wealth as the Lord's property. So if one is not worshipping the deities, then there is a strong tendency to see all of these as belonging to oneself. Then as his servants, they simply offer back to the Lord whatever he has given them as their necessities. So especially for beginners, deity worship is very, very important to cultivate the right mood of Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudas. I am the servant and you are the master of this house. Like that. Now, we saw that this deity worship is deity worship is not one of the 5 most potent limbs, but Shrimurter Angri Sevane Preeti, great attachment to serving the lotus feet of the Lord, is one of the 5 potent limbs. But the question is it possible to have that kind of attachment at the level of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti? How, or if one may not have that kind of an attachment, what should one do? So, in his book Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, Srila Shivaram Swami Maharaj writes how to develop that attachment. Is it possible for a Vaidhi sadhaka to have that kind of attachment to serving the lotus feet of the deities? He says, again, householders must worship the Lord according to their means and not with less. If they can spend more, they should not spend less for the deities. Devotees should love the Lord as if he were a friend or family member, and they should gaze on him with tears of love. So how can one develop that attachment? He says, practice taking darshan of the Lord, practice relishing the beauty of the Lord, practice dressing him every day. Like that. Having given their hearts, so why are we not willing to give money and facilities to the Supreme Lord? Because we have not given our hearts. To that person to whom we have given our hearts, we will be willing to spend everything. A father can give everything to his son or daughter. Why? Because he has given his heart. In all likelihood, when the father or mother writes a will, a major share of their inheritance will go to whom they love, to whom they have given their heart. So if someone is not able to give money to Supreme Lord, we should not force him, because it is an indication that he has not given his heart to the Supreme Lord. So we should inspire that person to give his heart to the Supreme Lord. That is Shraddha. Shra means heart, Da means to give. Shraddha means to give one's heart. And that desire to give one's heart to Krishna comes only in the association of devotees. So Sadhu Sangha means that association of devotees in whose association one is inspired to give one's heart to Krishna. So therefore, it is mentioned that we should not be interested in fundraising. We should be interested in friend raising. One senior Prabhupada disciple, he says that our business is not fundraising. Our business is friend raising. If we can be a wonderful friend to another person, and if in our association that person if we can inspire him to give his heart to Krishna, then all the resources, time, money, wealth, everything will follow the heart. So therefore, we need not ask for money. We have to give them our time, our affection, and we have to share Krishna consciousness. When through that selfless act of sharing Krishna consciousness, that person feels inspired, when he is feeling inspired to give his heart to Krishna, for one who has given his heart, to give money is very easy. This is the secret. So Maharaj says, devotees should learn to love the Lord as if he were a friend or a family member, one should gaze on him with tears of love. Just like we have a habit, like whenever I visit home, one of the things, even though it may be for 4 days, 5 days, 1 week or whatever, whenever I visit home, one of the things which we all like to do is we remove all the old photo albums, and all the family members, we sit together, look at the photo albums and reminisce old days. Oh, what happened this time, like that. So because it is natural, with whom we have that affection, we like to sit and reminisce, gaze at the photo. Sometimes, if it is a very strong remembrance, tears may come from our eyes also. So Maharaj says we should learn, how do we develop attraction for the deity? How do we come from Archana to Shrimurter Angri Sevane Preeti? Or how can we come from the level of deity worship to developing great attachment for serving the lotus feet of the deity? So he says, learn to see the Supreme Lord as a family member. Did Vrindavan Vihari eat? Has he taken? How is he dressed today? Who dressed him today? Oh, what have they put on him? How does he look from here? How does he look from here? Just like a doting father or a doting mother would take photographs of their children from different angles doing different things. So similarly, we should be developing that kind of we should endeavor to develop that kind of a relationship with Krishna. And this develops when we start performing personal service to Krishna. So therefore, in this way, when we give our hearts to Krishna, then to offer our bodies, to offer our possessions, to offer our time becomes our second nature. We will easily do it. Since Radha and Krishna are the object of spontaneous affection, devotees often inquire how Radha Krishna deities are to be worshipped on the path of regulative devotion. So Radha and Krishna, they are the forms which are worshipped by those who are at the stage of Raganuga sadhana. So how should a person at Vaidhi sadhana worship him? Prabhupada said, worship them in the mode of Lakshmi Narayan. But by worshipping them in the mode of Lakshmi and Narayan with awe and reverence, gradually we start moving in the direction of that awe and reverence transforms into spontaneous affection. As they advance, their moods become more spontaneous, although their external worship remains formal and regulated. Externally, they will do everything on time, but internally, a more spontaneous affection for Radha and Krishna will develop. It is natural. It is not artificial, it is natural. The deity worship in ISKCON is performed according to the rules of regulative devotion, technically known as Pancharatrika Vidhi. In regulative reverential worship, Radha and Krishna reciprocate in the mode of Lakshmi Narayan, the mode of reverence. So Srila Prabhupada writes, neophyte devotees who avoid the 64 offenses in deity worship are gradually purified and raised to what Srila Prabhupada calls the Vrindavan platform. So, just by worshipping the deities, especially Radha Krishna deities which have been given to us by our Guru Sishya Parampara, one can move from Vaidhi sadhana platform to Raganuga sadhana platform. The whole worship is designed in that way because Radha Krishna are Raganuga Vigraha. They will inspire Raganuga Bhakti. Even though we may start, and once the heart becomes clean, once the Anartha Nivritti is over, then gradually that spontaneous greed will develop. The process has been devised by our acharyas in that way. And deity worship is a very powerful limb by which we can quickly cross over the Anartha Nivritti stage and come to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti. From Vaidhi Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti, transition becomes very fast through the platform of deity worship. So one should never consider deity worship as being inferior. And Prabhupada says, by this mode of earned reverence worship, gradually one comes to the platform of Vrindavan platform, Prabhupada says, which means spontaneous devotion. In this advanced stage, devotees worship Radha and Krishna with natural attraction, and their lordships reciprocate with them accordingly. So in the Vaidhi Bhakti stage, they will reciprocate as Lakshmi and Narayan, which means they will eat with their eyes. Angani asya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. It is mentioned. The Supreme Lord Krishna, he can eat with his eyes. He can perform any activity with any of his limbs. So, in the regulated devotional service, they may not see Krishna actually eating what they are offering. But when one gradually progresses to the level of Raganuga and Bhava and Prema, Krishna may start eating and they will start reciprocating in that way. It may be very esoteric and very difficult to understand now, but Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavata are the proofs. So many times Sakshi Gopal walked such a long distance, hundreds of kilometers he walked just to prove that a Vaishnava is right. Gopinath ji in Remuna stole a pot of kheer for his dear devotee Madhavendra Puri. These are real incidents. And when one of Mahaprabhu's associates, Raghunandan Thakur, when he was a small boy, he offered laddu to Gopinath, his Gopinath deity, and Gopinath literally picked it up and started eating. There are so many instances of when one progresses from a sincere Vaidhi sadhana practice, when one naturally progresses to the level of Raganuga, the reciprocation of the deities become more and more sweet and personal. And that person will have the purity and capacity to handle that kind of a personal exchange with the deities. So, does this mean that as devotees advance to the spontaneous platform, the standard of deity worship in ISKCON should change? Does it mean that, oh, this pujari is Raganuga, so he will have different standards? No. Temple deity worship means it should be done in such a way as Maharaj writes, because there will always be neophyte devotees visiting or joining the temples, deity worship should always be suitable for them. They should not get bewildered. Otherwise, beginners will not become fixed in the essential principles of Vaidhi sadhana, and they may become sahajiyas. So therefore, advanced devotees should not change the external forms of worship, but internally they may feel some reciprocation from the Supreme Lord. Many times it happens. So, they need only change their mood of worship, but the external worship should be the same. Therefore, Prabhupada said the external worship should be following the Pancharatrika Vidhi only for devotees. So therefore, for those who are faithfully following this path chalked out by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, gradually and naturally this Vaidhi worship becomes Raganuga worship internally. Still externally it will be the same form of worship, but internally they will be experiencing much more sweeter interactions with the deities. Okay, now not only does performing deity worship make one more and more attached to the deity, but performance of deity worship makes us more attached to hearing and chanting also. It deity worship creates the qualification in a sadhaka to hear properly, to hear Krishna Katha properly. How? In the same book Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, Srila Shivaram Swami Maharaj writes, in addition to purifying the heart, deity worship has two other important effects. What are the important effects of deity worship? He says, it increases the devotee's interest to hear about the Lord. One might wonder, how? By performing deity worship, it may increase my interest to perform more deity worship. But no. When one sincerely performs deity worship in the right mood, it enhances his desire to hear. Why? Because when he becomes attached to that person who is whom he is serving, naturally he might want to, it is just like, can you say that if the father and mother are serving their son, because they have affection. So because they are serving their son out of affection, when someone glorifies their son, they would naturally be very interested to hear about it. So therefore, if you see in Mayapur, His Grace Jananivas Prabhu and His Grace Pankajangri Prabhu, they have been serving Lord Narsingadev and Panchatattva and Radha Madhav for literally the last 5 decades, 50 years, close to 50 years, maybe 45 years they have been serving. And they are fully engaged in deity worship, from washing the vessels to offering service to dressing, everything they do. And that constant service to the devotee, to the deity forms of the Lord, has actually generated a genuine taste for hearing. Whoever may be giving the class, in whatever language that class may be. Many times you see them when there is no English class going on, they sit in Bengali class and hear that Bengali class, even though they may not understand Bengali that well. Because it is the person who is sitting on the Vyasasana is glorifying the Lord of their heart. They don't mind. Just like when the sun is, the sun may be receiving an award, and in that award, maybe it may be a scientific award, and maybe a Nobel Prize or whatever it may be. And then he may be presenting a speech which is completely scientific. Even though the father and mother may not understand anything, still they will attend that whole function and sit and hear whatever he speaks. So, why? Because that function is, because their son is speaking. Their son is receiving an award. So similarly, one who is serving the deities sincerely, they naturally develop a taste for hearing. Because it is glorifying, because that personality is glorifying that Lord whom they are serving. Like since the time I started this, due to COVID crisis, I started giving these online courses. Therefore, my father and mother, they have an opportunity to watch what I am speaking. So even though my father may not have much interest in the subject matter, but nevertheless, he hears every single class because their son is speaking, and he will very carefully go over the comments that other people write, and he will tell me over the phone, oh, did you read this comment? They have commented like this, so you should answer it like that. Even though the subject matter may not be of much interest for him, but his son is speaking. That interest, because he has served me selflessly for so many decades. Therefore, even though the subject matter may not be of interest, but that desire to hear is there. Similarly, those serving the deities, they develop that genuine desire to hear. And second is, it bestows the ability to concentrate the mind, which increases the capacity to hear. Many times while hearing we become restless because our mind is uncontrolled. But deity worship increases our level of concentration. So, how do devotees work on increasing their concentration? Increase the commitment to serve the deities. It automatically increases the concentration power. And when the concentration power increases, then one can hear also with concentration. So therefore, in these two ways, deity worship makes one more and more qualified and able to hear. Like that. It increases the interest and it increases the capacity to hear, both. Maharaj continues, tending the deity naturally awakens awareness of Krishna's personality. Oh, he is a person. I have to wake him up. Because you don't wake up something which is impersonal. I have to wake him up. I have to bathe him. I have to dress him. I have to feed him. All these things are done to a personality. As devotees become increasingly attached to the person they are worshipping, they want to know more about him. It is natural. Like we saw this example. I want to know what people are talking about my son. Similarly, when devotees serve the deity, oh, what do the Shastras say about him? Like we have one of our devotees who serves Girirajji. So he is personal pujari of Girirajji. So he has personally learnt everything about Girirajji. Whatever the Shastras say, the different Ashtakams and Dashakams and everything that has been composed glorifying Giriraj, he has very nicely learnt. Otherwise, he is not seen as a very studious person. But nevertheless, because he is personally serving Girirajji for many years, he has naturally developed the taste for hearing more and more about Giriraj. And he has learned, he has vast knowledge about Giriraj, what people have written, what Rupa Goswami has written, what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written, what the Garga Samhita says, what Bhagavatam says, what Gopal Champu says, what Ananda Vrindavan Champu says. All these literatures he has learnt very nicely. So the desire to hear about the personality whom you are serving is natural. Subsequently, they want to hear about his pastimes and to learn how to serve him better. As they increase their service, their instinctive taste for hearing and reading becomes purified and directed towards the topics of the Lord. This is directly from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.13 purport by Prabhupada. So, deity worship increases the taste for hearing and chanting. So, one should not think that by chanting more, only by chanting more I will get taste for chanting. No. Deity worship. In this way, every limb of devotional service is complementary. Now we are hearing about deity worship. So by hearing, we will get taste for deity worship, because while hearing, we are hearing the glories of deity worship. And by performing deity worship, similarly it increases our taste for hearing. So Archanam enhances taste for Shravanam, Shravanam enhances taste for Archanam. Like that. Srila Prabhupada also glorified deity worship as a means to fix the mind. Prabhupada, in one of the lectures in Los Angeles in 1973, Prabhupada said, this deity worship means to train the neophyte devotees how to concentrate upon the form of Krishna, especially his lotus feet. So by observing the Lord's form during Aarti, thinking of him during the day, tasting his remnants at meals, devotees naturally remember him. This regular remembrance is a form of training that helps new devotees subdue and direct the restless mind. So, to direct the restless mind, deity worship is a powerful way of doing that. When they have achieved a certain measure of success, devotees find reading and hearing much more rewarding. So, when they develop that attachment to serving the deities, that Shri Murter Angri Sevane Preeti, with that Preeti generates a great appetite for hearing and chanting. And then that act of hearing and chanting becomes very powerful and rewarding, as Prabhupada Maharaj writes. We often see new devotees distracted or sleepy while hearing Bhagavatam class or chanting the holy name. Learning to fix the mind on the deity helps fix the mind on topics of Krishna. Thus, deity worship helps devotees always stay alert and focused on other devotional acts. So, to increase focus in devotional service, deity worship plays a very, very vital role. So, I want to thank for this opportunity because I have always been little insincere on this front. So, by speaking about deity worship, I am trying to reconfirm my commitment, which has been very up and down, up and down, up and down. So now by speaking from this book, I am getting a renewed interest to actually increase my commitment of deity worship. So therefore, whoever, when you are hearing this, if you feel inspired, share it with others. It will increase our inspiration to recommit more for worshipping the deity forms of the Lord. Through the medium of deity worship, the devotee's dormant attachment to Krishna is awakened. That attachment naturally increases their qualification for and interest in hearing the topics of Krishna. In this way, one can overcome the influence of Rajogun and Tamogun and happily serve Krishna in the proper consciousness. Okay, but one should not think that deity worship is just for neophytes. Even though for beginners, it is mentioned like that. But deity worship is not just for beginners. Maharaj quotes from Prabhupada's purport in the 3rd canto. Although deity worship is especially recommended for neophytes, Srila Prabhupada wants advanced devotees not to neglect it. Although they were fully realized souls, associates of the Lord such as Rupa Goswami and Gadadhar Pandit worshipped their own deities with love and attention. Rupa Goswami worshipped Radha Govinda and Gadadhar Pandit worshipped Tota Gopinath. While advanced devotees generally worship the Lord by the process of smaranam. So, advanced devotees' deity worship is not just archanam, it is smaranam. But they may initiate other disciples to worship the deities and they may worship on the level of archanam. So when one progresses more and more and more and more and more, archanam transforms into smaranam. Like that. So therefore one should not think that deity worship is only for neophytes. For the beginners, it is on the level of archanam. For the advanced devotees, it is on the level of smaranam. And then Maharaj insists, active and personal deity worship is most potent. You may say, Prabhuji, taking darshan of the deity is also a limb, na? Correct, it is a limb, no doubt about it. But it cannot be compared to performing some personal service to the deities. The more personal the service, the more potent it is. So Maharaj writes, bowing down before the deities, chanting their names, observing the arti are certainly parts of archanam. They are parts of archanam process. So you may say, okay, you dress the deities, I will offer them obeisances. You offer them bhoga, I will honor that bhoga. So one may say, that is also archanam. True, that is also Archanam, but it is not the same. But devotees would do well to be more actively involved in the actual worship of the deities by cooking for the deities, dressing them, and doing menial services such as washing their floor, making garlands. The devotees can stay conscious of the deity throughout the day and reminded of the standards that please Krishna. So taking darshan is okay, very good, that is definitely considered a limb. But if we can render more personal service to the Lord, then that can make us constantly absorbed in thinking of Krishna throughout the day. And finally, Maharaj says that neglect of deity worship leads to collapse of a spiritual community. So, if a community, as a community, we have a very negligent attitude towards deity worship, then it is a sure shot recipe of collapse of that whole community. So Maharaj writes, when senior devotees remain aloof from the deity's welfare, the health of temple projects and spiritual health of the devotees under their care becomes very weak. If leading devotees act as if they are aloof from the deity, their followers will emulate their behavior and also become indifferent to hearing and chanting of the Lord. If deity worship is neglected, Maharaj says, naturally the taste for hearing and chanting will go down in that whole community. It follows that if hearing and chanting are to remain the heartbeat of ISKCON's devotional curriculum, and if devotees are to develop the proper qualification for hearing and chanting, deity worship must be done properly. So if hearing and chanting has to be the heartbeat of ISKCON, then deity worship has to be done properly, Maharaj says. So finally he says, when deity worship is properly managed, the deity manages the temple properly. You manage deity worship and the deity will manage the temple. This is Prabhupada's formula. In a letter that Prabhupada wrote to Hayagriva Prabhu when he was staying in New Vrindavan, Prabhupada wrote, as GBC, you should see the standard is perfectly maintained and that deity worship is perfectly done. Then Krishna will give us all protection. Neglecting the principles means neglecting Krishna's order. So you are one of the chief men of this institution. Kindly maintain your behavior to the standard so that others will follow and the whole thing may go on nicely. It was said about Lord Chaitanya, Apani Achari Prabhu Jivera Shikai. That is, he personally used to practice himself the injunctions and then he used to teach others. That is our principle. Unless one is perfectly behaved person, he cannot teach others. My only request is that all the GBC members should be strictly to the standard of life and see that others are also following them. Then our centers will be well managed. Kindly do that and advise your co-workers to do that. So Prabhupada says, you follow the principles of deity worship perfectly. Set the standards. Then automatically the temple will be well managed. So if the deity worship is managed nicely, the deities will manage the temple. Everything will be taken care. This is Prabhupada's instruction to Hayagriva Prabhu. So, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes one or two verses to glorify the process of deity worship. Mama namat sadagrahi, mama seva priya sada, bhaktis tasmai pradatavya, natu mukti kadachana. He says, one who is engaged in chanting my name, this is from the Adi Purana, Krishna speaks to Arjuna. One who takes my name and worships my deity form, I give bhakti very easily. I don't just give him liberation, I also give him prema, like that Krishna says. And finally, Srila Rupa Goswami himself has composed a beautiful verse glorifying the worship of deity, the most potent limb, one of the most potent limbs. Smeram Bangi Traya Parichitam साचि विस्तीर्ण दृष्टिम वंशीन्यस्तादरकिशलयाम उज्ज्वलां चंद्रकेन गोविंदाख्यां हरितनिमिता केशितीर्थोपकंटे मा प्रेक्षिष्टास्तव यदि सके बंधु संगे स्थिरंगः. Srila Rupa Goswami says, O Sakhe, O friend, yadi bandhu sange rangaha asti, if you still relish spending time with your family and friends, ma prekshishta, I am warning you, do not go to Keshi Tirtha Upakante, do not go to Keshi Ghat in Yamuna. Why? Govindakyam Haritanumitaha. Because there Govinda is standing. And that Govinda has a beautiful smile on his lips. Bhangi Traya Parichitam. And he is standing in a Tribhanga form, threefold bending form. Sachi Vistirna Drishtim. And his eyes will be seeing here and there in a crooked way. Vamshi Nyasta Adara Kishalayam. And his flute will be, he will be playing the flute by keeping it on his lips. Ujjwalam Chandrakena, and wearing a shining peacock feather. If you go and take darshan of this Govinda, then you will lose taste for spending time with your friends and family. So, if you still have attachment to spending time with your family and friends, I request you, please don't go to Keshi Ghat and take darshan of this Govinda. So, this is called as Vyajastuti. He wants to glorify, but it comes in the form of don't do it. But what he actually means is do it. So in this way, I am sorry we have gone well past the time. So as I mentioned yesterday, the rest of the 5 days or 6 days, it will be an extended discussion. Only then I will be able to complete the portion. So thank you very much for your very patient listening. Today we could complete the first of the 5 most potent limbs, which is deity worship, very, very important. Tomorrow we will discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.